being perceived, keep watching. Hi, my name's Mitch. I'm non-binary, and I sometimes don't like to be perceived. Part of my gender journey and my expression was this discovery that I don't like being perceived as a man, and so sometimes the only option is to just not be perceived at all. It had turned into this feeling of, just not wanting to be perceived anywhere I go, either from a sense of belongingness or not feeling I belong or fit in anywhere, or also just genuinely being so confused in my own journey that I didn't know where I fit. And so, because I didn't know, it was easier to just not be a part of it at all. It being this. Now, that doesn't mean that I was worried about any part of me in my life, or I just didn't want to be perceived. I was like, please just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Or what happens because of that is when I constantly ask the world to be left alone, the world listens. And then I become lonely. And that sucks. So I know that the feeling of being perceived can also be deeply connected to neurodivergence and trauma and all these other things. And while I don't personally attach or identify as someone who is neurodivergent, I have empathy for people who do, because that feeling of perception can automatically come with judgment. Judgment for existing, judgment for being just me, or judgment that of maybe it's this learned condition that in order to put myself out there, I was opening or welcoming of judgment. And that sucks because I was just trying to be myself. And then I was immediately judged for it, which then creates this easy feeling of, oh, to be perceived is to be judged. And I'm going to hold your hand while I say this, but you are not always judged when you are perceived. So sometimes being perceived is okay, because that means you get to put yourself out there for the world, and the world will find a spot for you. So yes, listen to your body, listen to yourself about struggling being perceived, or at least the feeling of not wanting to be perceived. But ask yourself this question too: am I only choosing to not be perceived because I'm afraid of being judged? Or am I choosing to not be perceived from a sense of a deep truth within me? Because if it's the deep truth, then that's fine. And we don't always have to be perceived at every single moment of every single day. This is a lie that we were taught by these amazing rectangles in our pockets and the internet, that we're always constantly being perceived. If we're doing it from a fear of being judged, how can we get over that? While I respect your desire to not want to be perceived all the time, if we constantly don't want to be perceived, we will unperceive ourselves into the ether. And what matters to me is you existing.